So, how's it going, everybody? I am attorney Michael Eline. I'm starting a little early today. As you know, I am an attorney licensed in Texas and California, and I do a lot of stuff on civil rights, Bill of Rights, natural law theory, and definitely a proponent of the First Amendment and more speech. That's one area where less is definitely never more when it comes to free speech. And we've seen a massive globalist agenda to characterize anything people like these large corporations or their billionaire friends disagree with as hate speech. And that has been infused with lots of big party money donations into the political agenda now. And it's being forced into our schools, and it's all over the world. They're forcing teachers in some countries to use, pronouns and stuff, or they'll throw them in jail. And just a lot of crazy stuff, forcing people to say certain words or classify something that they have a religious disagreement over, or something, or a scientific disagreement of opinion on. If they don't say what the government wants them to say, they're locking them up and throwing away the key. And a lot of these guys are becoming heroes in their home countries. So what I'll do really quick is I'll just kick off my show really quick, just so we can start letting people fill up the room. And tonight we're going to get into a little bit of Enoch Burke, and he is an Irish freedom fighter, much along the lines of the old IRA, fighting for the old traditional Irish values. We know that the WEF and a lot of these billionaires have had this agenda to flood all the European countries with people from sub-Saharan Africa and cultures that really actually have been taught since birth to hate the locals. And it's sort of playing itself out as they get more people, and they have more kids, and they establish themselves. They're not, these people aren't, when in Rome, do as Romans do. So they're not doing that. They're not assimilating into the European culture. They're making it like how the countries they allegedly fled from, they're bringing that same exact environment into the country that they fled to, allegedly to escape that. And so a lot of the Europeans are furious about what's going on. They call it the globalist agenda. And so today I'm not going to, really take sides or try to talk disparagingly of people like Klaus Schwab or Gavin Newsom or any of the people behind all this. But instead, what I'm going to do is sort of show you the extremes of when you don't have a constitution that has a republic that's supposed to bind the government with the chains of the Constitution, which is what we have in America. And that's why we have this really powerful First Amendment. And one of the main parts of the First Amendment is to hold the government accountable and to be able to cop watch and follow them around with cameras and hold them accountable, make sure that they're not going to lose their temper or do something dumb, make sure they have the right demeanor and temperament to be a public official, right? Because we're paying for that allegedly, right? With our taxes. So that's one of the parts of the show. We're going to do that. We're going to talk about what's going on over in Ireland with Enoch Burke. And then we're going to get a little bit into some Chile de Castro videos. I'm going to do some attorney breakdowns of some delete laws videos that I saw, and give a little love to Chile's channel today. So hopefully people are starting to show up. Hey, Chad Crum, good seeing you. Let's OTVO, as always, super awesome. An honor to have you. Just Willie, good seeing you guys. So what I'll do really quick is I'll just kick off my show, kind of give people time to show up. Let me do my little intro to another edition of Ask Michael Eline. This is where I teach people the law in an unorthodox manner by using examples that we see in the news, case law briefs, but it's all about exposing the Leviathan and its instrumentalities and taking back your rights. Know the law and mean to keep it well. Come here to learn from an expert to know your right. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. Oh, that's for sure. We definitely don't ever know that, do we? Right? Exactly. That's right. Irish are an amazing people. What a shame what's happening to their country right now. Tragic. Man, that was just brilliant, right? I mean, just like absolutely great. Just fantastic, Mom. All right, so that, guys, is Christy Moore, and this is, I have rights to play this. But the song is called Back Home in Derry. And I'm not, promoting him or anything. I just think he's a good musician. And since we're talking about Ireland, I thought I'd get the mood down, because this story about Enoch Burke, to me, reminds me of one of those folk hero kind of situations where you have, just like when the Irish were fighting the English, now like the true Irish are fighting the globalists, and they're trying to keep Ireland for the Irish. And they're really upset that their country is being flooded with people from sub-Saharan Africa that literally hate them. At least that's what I'm hearing from my friends who are calling me. And that's why several of my friends, one of whom is a former school teacher in Ireland, asked me to talk about Enoch Burke and what's going on down in Ireland, or up in Ireland in the Emerald Isles. And so a lot of you guys know I used to live in Scotland, and I understand the connection between the Irish and the Scots and the Gaelic and the Celtics and all that stuff. And I just really feel bad for them, because I've been all over those islands, and I was there back in like 89 or like 90 or 92, I guess. And it was just a different time. It was amazing. And I just, from the stories that I'm hearing, it's just really changed. Like, it's like dangerous, like more dangerous than ever. And it doesn't even look like how it used to, from what people are telling me. And so now we're going to talk a little bit about Enoch Burke. So the first thing we're going to do is, the reason why I played that song for you is because I found this video. This is Enoch Burke. Hopefully you guys can see this. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you. I don't know if that'll do it. I think I'm already in full screen mode. So this is Enoch Burke. He is a school teacher, was a school teacher in Ireland, who refused to use gender inclusive pronouns because he said it went against his religious beliefs, and that Ireland is it's a Catholic country, and they're Christians, and the church should be supporting him, which you're going to find out later that they don't. And we're going to talk a little bit about King Herod and some similarities and parallels in history about how people who aren't really part of your true religious faith were able to buy themselves in and make people bow down to them, even though they clearly don't abide by what the Bible says, which is obvious. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this really quick. So that's Enoch right there. I don't know if you guys see that.
In 1803, we sailed out to sea.
That's Enoch. So I'm risking a strike to show this to you, but man, I'm going to share this video with you guys. Go to my X channel, Michael Eline on X. It's pinned. I mean, you guys like Irish folk music, man. This Enoch Burke thing is going to just blow your mind.
Australia bound, if we didn't all drown, the marks of our.
All right, so we got a little bit of Enoch going. So let's learn about Enoch Burke from someone down in Ireland. Let's learn about him from someone down in Ireland. We'll learn about how the police are forcing people. They're forcing people to use pronouns and throw them in the jail. Actually, what we'll do really quick? I'll play this video with the sound off, so at least you guys can see what happened to Enoch Burke. So he's telling these kids, don't take puberty blockers. It's deadly to you. Don't mutilate your bodies. It's bad. You're just children. What are you doing, government, letting this happen? And of course, the medical community is furious. All these billionaire doctors and people trying to make money with pharma, pumping kids full of this stuff. They're furious about this. And of course, we know they donate to the political campaigns. So let's just take a look at what happened here. So this guy is walking through the paddies there. My Irish accent's not that good. I used to live in Scotland, mate. I don't live in Ireland. I don't live in Ireland. Anyways, so they're basically saying, shame, shame, shame on you. Shame on you, Garda. How could you be arresting this man? So they literally arrest this guy because he refuses to use gender inclusive pronouns. Now, can you imagine that happening in the United States? Because it probably will. California is already headed that way. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but at least you get an idea. So that's the Garda. That's the Irish version of the police. And they're going to throw him in the paddy wagon. Literally going to throw him in the paddy wagon. This is just crazy. Shame on you, Seamus. Hey, Grateful Dabs. Good seeing you, buddy. Do you like my accent, Chad Crumb? I did hang out at a few Celtic pubs, and I went to the Celtic football games. I lived in Motherwell with a Catholic family, so we went to the Celtic Rangers games, and I always had the red, yellow, and white Catholic scarf, like that, the Irish colors, for the Celtics, anyways, so just brought some really anchored, cool memories to be able to talk about this story. And I want to share this with you. And I know you cop watcher guys, you want to see some action. We're going to do some Chili DeCastro videos at the end, but I want to cover this because this has to do with free speech and sort of like this transgender ideology, which is like infused itself into the government, just like overnight, like automatically with the election of Biden. It's just everywhere, right? Like you're seeing, satanic symbols everywhere at the Target and Baphomet worship and people singing, "We're here, we're queer, and we're coming for your children" at these parades. Like they're just totally blatant about it. And so a lot of people are pushing back, parents, and I guess they're even pushing back in Ireland. And so this is one of these guys, he's like a traditional Catholic guy, and he's really upset. So this is a 5-minute video. We're just going to listen to the story of Enoch Burke.
School teacher Enoch Burke has been sent back to prison a third time there for contempt of court orders. Mr. Burke was arrested on the grounds of Wilson's Hospital School in County Westmeath after going there in defiance of a High Court injuction. He was returned to prison by Mr. Justice Michael Quinn after early prison by Justice in Dublin. Kira, I suppose you think there's got to be a better way than sending Enoch Burke back to prison again.
I do. First of all, I think it's a waste of a prison place, and I'm all about the law and order. There are people who have served less time in Irish prisons who've committed violent crimes than Enoch Burke at this point.
He's a political prisoner, just like Chile.
I understand that the courts do not know what to do with Enoch Burke. I understand that Enoch Burke, who has more or less refused to adhere to any kind of court order and has been found to be in contempt of court,
he refuses to use pronouns.
Courts have limited means in terms of what they do. But it strikes me that a man who agree with him or disagree with him is a separate issue. Think he's right, think he's wrong, think what you like about him is a separate issue.
Andy.
All he has actually done is stood outside the school, and in his view, and it would be my belief, and by the way, I don't share his evangelical beliefs in any way, but it is my belief that he's there for his own religious reasons, and that he thinks that that's what he's doing. He's protesting on the basis of his religion, and that this is a religious persecutory matter. I just wonder, could we not mediate this in some different way? Because it strikes me that locking up a man who stands outside a school now for...
Well, he can purge his contempt at any time.
He can, but I'm not sure
mediation
in his
would work.
View, this appears to be some kind of issue of conscience, Shane. And I'm just saying that locking up him, who does nothing but stand there, strikes me as a sledgehammer to crack a nut.
I hear you. And I know the point you're making. The problem is that's not all he has done. He's refused to comply with the court order.
Yeah, yes.
Several
court orders.
There's conclusive evidence put before the court, which is not denied by Mr. Burke, that he has breached the terms of the injunction. He's in contempt of court. And the problem is, if somebody's continuously in contempt of court, we can't just ignore that. The state can't just ignore that, because then everybody will be in contempt of court.
I don't think that's true that everyone will be in contempt of court. Most people won't even come high nor near a court.
Lots of people will be.
Here's the thing. But most people won't behave like Enoch Burke. Enoch Burke is a particular case.
Right. So Enoch Burke is more like a traditional American. He will not comply with forcible commands that go against a belief system that he disagrees with. This belief system. He thinks it's evil. He thinks it's satanic, like a lot of people do. And finally you have, Twitter and X coming out to where you actually have free speech, and people aren't getting banned and shadow banned and blocked for talking about it. And of course the globalists are furious about that, and it's picking up some steam, right? We're starting to hear about this stuff because of Twitter. You wouldn't have heard about this because of YouTube. This thing's going to get buried at the very bottom, right? But I'm just telling you, there's an awakening of people who are pushing back, and Enoch Burke's one of them. Let's keep listening.
He is flouting the law, and
the authority of the courts.
He has dismissed and disrespected the law, and it strikes me that the law is reacting more severely to being disrespected than they do sometimes.
I don't think they're reacting
people
severely.
Committing crimes.
I don't think they're reacting severely. I mean, they let him out during the school. Like nobody in authority.
Could he
wants
not just be ignored? Could somebody not just take it and sort of suck it up and kind of go, Enoch Burke stands outside the school. I doubt very much that.
And ignore a court order and the authority. Like once the authority of the state
are we
is
going to leave him
undermined,
locked up for the rest of his life?
I don't know.
Because there's a possibility that he won't ever change his position.
I don't have a particular solution to this, but what I do know is that any state that lacks authority, that says, actually, do you know what, we'll let this person off with coming to...
Wait a minute. So this is Ireland, right? So they're allowing like unfettered immigration from military-age males, and a lot of them have been involved in violent crime. The government has been accused of trying to cover up the crime statistic figures to make it look like it's not really a crime, or they're decreasing the penalties so they can say it's no longer a felony. For example, they're doing the same thing in San Francisco. They'll change the law. Well, now it's $900. So anything under 900 is not a felony. So just steal under 900 and then you won't be hit with a felony, right? That's what they're doing. Same kind of thing over in Ireland. But the rank and file people in Ireland, especially like people I know, people I've known for years, family, they are just blown away by guys like this. Like this guy clearly is, part of that other side of the spectrum. They call them the elite, right? They're the ones getting advertising money from these big corporations. And we're going to talk a little bit about the influence of this one major corporation that basically has their tentacles on the world. And we're going to show you how they did it. And we're going to show you what their philosophy is. And I'll tell you what it is. It's called, they need to force behavior. So these are people who don't hold your value system, but because they have control over all these corporations and what you buy and what you see, they think that they have the right to force behavior. And they're doing that by buying politicians and people on the news like this guy on News Talk. Let's keep listening.
Their nose at the law and the authority of the courts. That's a recipe for disaster. I don't think any state, however benign, and we are a very benign state, can afford to do that.
At the end of the day, all he's doing is standing outside of school.
He's not. He's breaching a court order.
That's what he's physically doing, Shane. And he is in breach of a court order. He is in contempt of court. He's refused to purge his contempt. I know all those things. But let us know this morning. Do you know what I'm saying?
Great, Jimmy. How you are, mate?
Who, for his own reasons, and you don't have to agree with him,
Jimmy.
or you can agree with him. I don't particularly care. Are we going to leave him locked up for the rest of his life because he stands outside the school? Am I out in one here this morning, as I often am?
All right, so you kind of got that. So, and then of course, it's no better in the United States. I mean, now this is just a still that I found on Twitter today. I don't know if you guys catch this, but when I was growing up, I would go door to door and, polish shoes for 10 cents, the neighbors, whatever. I have shoe polish kit, polish shoes, wash cars, take the newspaper and, use that to do the windows and, wash people's cars down, have the little bucket with me. And that was just normal stuff. Lemonade stand. And so here you go. You've got this lemonade stand and look at this. These cops are coming to tell them you're not allowed to have a lemonade stand here. You're not allowed to do this without a permit, without a license, and it just blows my mind, how we become so Sovietized, like literally like the Soviet Union, where we've been conditioned that we need the government's permission to do things that we took for granted just 20 or 30 years ago. It's just crazy at lightning rocket speed. And a lot of it has to do because of social media and the globalist total lockdown on messaging until Twitter came along. So they had Facebook, Instagram, CNN, PMSNBC, Fox News controlled opposition. And then finally, Twitter, boom, X. And all of a sudden we have access to all this information. We find out that the vast majority of people on this planet actually do think like me. And they don't think like the censors and fact checkers from Twitter in San Francisco for the last 15 years. They actually don't think like those people. They think like people in the rest of the world. And so, we were sort of it was almost like a dystopian Orwellian disinformation campaign and people now are finally becoming awakened. But the problem is because people suffer from cognitive dissonance. It's really hard for people to admit that they were wrong or that they were duped, especially if they're have party allegiances, like if you're super hard connected to one party over another. So that's why I encourage people to follow Delete Law's Chili de Castro's channel, because he gives you an alternative way of thinking, which I really appreciate. Hey, what's going on, Selwindon? And yeah, you're right, Bo Bobby Ghibli. And oh yeah, hold on a minute. Shaman, how you are, mate? How you are? I used to live in Motherwell, man. I still remember how to talk like a little bit of Scottish, mate. But, it was a really interesting language. It's like a foreign language even to an Englishman. I mean, unless you're from Manchester, you're going to have a hard time understanding somebody from Motherwell or Glasgow. It's not going to happen. So that's great. I'm really grateful that I have people from all around the world. Tell all your friends in Scotland and Ireland to be watching the show because we're just getting started. So, so you see right there, you got the lemonade stand. Just blows my mind. Let's get back to Enoch Burke. Let's listen to what the politicians have to say who are getting tons of money from companies like BlackRock to push this anti-parent, anti-Christian agenda.
Recently commended the school in Mullingar, Wilson's Hospital School, and I was just wondering, did you have anything to say about the young man who's in prison?
Anything to say about Enoch Burke, Mr. Harris? Anything to say about Mr. Burke? Simon, anything to say about the teacher in prison for not agreeing with transgenderism? Simon, anything to say about Enoch Burke?
I wondered if you have anything to say about Enoch Burke.
Enoch Burke, Helen, anything to say about
It's private property, private party, private party,
Private party.
I'm being pushed out. So I'm not being allowed.
It's a private event. Justice. Out of my way, please. Out of my way, you're in my way.
Kind of like Gavin Newsom. Oh, they all look the same, don't they?
Anything to say about it? Get in my hand. Thank you so much. Enoch Burke.
Give me a bunch of ones if you think all the new tyrants look like they're about 6'5" to 6'7", and they look identical to Gavin Newsom, like they have almost like an implanted blow dryer, like stuck somewhere in their suit that constantly blow dries their hair.
We're not accepting transgenderism. Yeah. Anything to say? Nothing to say.
Running away. This is the Taoiseach running away.
I'm not on the way. You're in my way.
There's not many people waiting to see you.
Does the Minister for Justice have anything to say about a man in prison for not agreeing?
Minister for Justice?
Simon, you have to walk up. We've nothing to say. I don't think people are too interested. My son is in prison for the last year.
Hey, these cop watchers are awesome, man. Some of the best cop watching I've seen.
Have you anything to say?
Hello, how are you? Enoch Burke.
Very nice to see you. How are you?
The Taoiseach of our country running away. He won't tell me what he thinks about Enoch Burke.
What does he think about Enoch
Does
Burke?
the Minister for Justice have anything to say
Yeah, the girly man
about
voice.
Enoch Burke? She's running away as well.
Right.
Because he
How dare you?
Go Wibbly one. Go give
How
me
dare
one.
you hit my phone? Maria Walsh just hit my phone. She's trying to shake it out of my hand.
Anything to say, Ellen, about Enoch Burke in
Battery.
prison for not accepting transgenderism? Running away. Silence.
Just be careful the car behind you there.
Nothing to say. You've
You
come to
might not care
Castlebar,
about yourself, but we do.
a teacher from Castlebar in prison for not accepting transgenderism and nothing to say. Running away.
I mean,
Fantastic candidates.
So what have
Right
you
to right
to
the
say,
country.
Helen,
So
about
vote
it?
Fine Gael on June 7th. Thank you very much.
Nothing to say. Head down. Nothing to say.
Here to support my
Nothing to
colleagues.
say.
Yeah. We have
What about Enoch Burke?
fantastic candidates.
So I guess they have their own version of Ellen DeGeneres running for political office. And then, of course, look, that's not just exclusive to, Ireland, right? I mean, they just want us to be healthy, right? They get to force their agenda on us. We have to accept it because they want us to stay healthy, right, guys? That's what it's all about. You shouldn't have a say because you're just a bigot or a homophobe, right? Well, now let's meet Enoch Burke, and you guys can tell me if you think that Enoch, freshly released from prison, is a threat to anybody.
I'm standing here outside Mountjoy Prison.
Pretty amazing
I've been
guy.
told that I've
See if
been
I can get this
released.
thing
I've
rolling
been
here.
I've been here for 400.
Enoch Burke, I got to get it going for you. Hold on one second, guys. So we can see him, but we don't have any sound. So there's something going on. Let me see if I can boot this bad chicken up one more
I'm standing
time.
here outside Mountjoy Prison.
It could just
and
be we don't
I've
have
been
sound.
told, a lot of very
Well, look at that, guys. We don't have sound.
to be set aside.
I don't have
And
sound for the
laying out
Enoch Burke
clearly
video. But anyways, you
how
get a
it was
chance to see Enoch there.
unconstitutional That Judge
Let's see if
Owens
I can
made
find any
no
other Enoch Burke
examination
videos. Here's
whatsoever
another one.
of whether that demand. That
Well,
I
unfortunately, I don't
told
have sound, but I'll
somebody
try to say it.
was
I've just been in
legitimate.
prison
Part of the
because I'm
case.
Christian and I don't
And
want
in
to
that
tell children that they
hearing,
can inject
there was
themselves with drugs
obfuscation.
and syringes and chop off their body parts because it's child
Came out
mutilation.
and he said
So I
it
don't.
was
I
about
want to
something
allow that to
wasn't.
happen to the
He said that
youngins,
what was before
and I'm not going to call
was
them by
about
these
procedure.
pronouns. It's
When it
ridiculous.
was
It goes
clearly
against my
stated
religious
that the
beliefs. So
issue
that's
before
pretty
the
much
board of the school
Enoch Burke, and I'll let him say it in his own words in this other video that I found. Let me just find it real quick. Let me find the other Enoch Burke video, and hopefully it'll still play for us.
I don't really have much to say. I suppose the main thing really to say is that I do think it's very important that that journalists and the media are fair and equitable in the reporting of this matter. And in particular, I'm thinking of the disciplinary meeting that was held a week and a half ago. And it's well reported that I objected to that meeting, and I did, because it was devoid of natural justice and fair procedures.
Natural justice.
Certain journalists and media outlets.
So this is something this is the problem. So this is something that I really, I wanted to hit on with you guys, is Enoch Burke understands John Locke. He understands Thomas Aquinas. He understands natural law. So all of our rights in America in particular are recognized as coming from an all-powerful creator, or the universe. In the Declaration of Independence, it specifically says that our rights come from an all-powerful creator. And so the government was to be bound by the chains of the Constitution. There's no document anywhere by any of our founders that speaks favorably of democracies that I've been able to find. Certainly the word democracy isn't mentioned in any of our founding documents, because they recognized that when 51% of scumbags were able to get control, they could destroy the 49% of hardworking, honest people. So they wanted to have a system in place where individual rights became the supreme law of the land, and the government was bound by the chains of the Constitution not to push past that. Now, the Irish, unfortunately, were under the boot of the English for so long, and they were subjugated for so long. It's almost like the ones who remained in Ireland and didn't fight back, are sort of still scarred by hundreds of years of basically slavery. And that's just what happened. And Scotland also, similar situation, similar fate. And so now what you have is you have the people who eventually got their freedom, like the IRA, Sinn Féin and all that. They're now all supporting the globalists, like the big money billionaire guys. And this guy is a natural law guy saying, look, I don't care what the politicians say. My rights don't come from the government. You're there to protect my rights. And I'm not going to tell kids that it's okay to chop off their body parts. I'm not going to tell kids that it's okay to pump their body full of anabolic steroids when they're just little kids. I'm not going to push any kind of sexual ideology on them. I'm not going to do it. He's standing firm. But since he's a public employee and he works for a school, he's having a lot of problems. And we've had similar problems in California. We've had fathers stripped of their children by Child Protective Services in California for refusing to go along with the mother's transgender ideology plan for her child and their mutual child. And so it's becoming a real battle, and the mainstream press for most part doesn't report on it, or they'll just say it's a conspiracy theory and you're making up nonsense and don't believe any of it. But I can tell you, as an actual lawyer in California, it is happening. And you have a lot of these girls who have, chopped off their boobs because they were convinced by their woke school teachers or whatever that, they needed to do that to find themselves, are now suing when they turn 18, going, that it was just a stage and you guys destroyed my body. My voice has changed. I have an enlarged woman part. I'm not attractive. I look, my jaw squared out. I'm not feminine enough anymore to be, I'm sterilized. I can't have kids. So it's happening. And so this guy's fighting against that, going, let the children grow up a little bit before you do this kind of stuff. And the government's not having any of it. So let's listen to him.
Really have taken it upon themselves to paint my objection to that meeting in a very dark light and in the darkest possible hues. And at the same time, they have neglected to ask the questions that they should be asking, which are, why did solicitors from Mason, Hayes and Curran seek to direct or seek to conduct that meeting? And the public may not be aware that that's absolutely unlawful. It's not provided for in the circular, which covers matters relating to teachers. And yet we have solicitors from Mason, Hayes and Curran, one of whom was purporting, and this is a purported disciplinary meeting as far as I'm concerned, and also that the chairperson of the Board of Management, John Rogers, was not there at that meeting or that day, and yet the very next day he could be there in the school when I was being handed my dismissal notice. So these are the questions that journalists should be asking. They should be asking why is it allowable that a school can dismiss a teacher solely because of their religious beliefs? Is it allowable for a principal, in this case, Principal Lee?
Well, so a lot of my friends that have been calling me are going, if that was a Muslim teacher, it would have never happened. They would have bent over backwards. And if they didn't, there'd be riots, right? That would never happen. But because it's a Christian, there's like a real battle against, this is what I'm hearing from people. I don't know if it's true, but what I'm hearing is there's like a battle against Christianity. It's like, it's public enemy number one for these large corporations and these globalists. And I think the reason why is because our founding fathers had this idea of natural law that they got mainly from John Locke, that we would have the same rights as the king. And of course, the king and the king's men, the bankers, right? The king's men, his people, his noblemen, they don't like serfs and poor people or people that are outside their class, right? Their chosen class, outside their tribe, to be able to prosper. Everyone else needs to be a slave. And this is what I'm hearing. I don't know if it's true. You guys will have to tell me. But the end result is stuff like this, where you have a guy who's standing for natural law, natural rights. Very John Locke sounding guy saying, look, my rights come from a creator, not the government. I'm not going to be dictated that I have to call somebody, a guy, a girl, or a girl, a guy, when I know that that's not who they are. And your religious interpretation, your cult-like interpretation of science is pseudoscience based upon this new ideology, transgender ideology. It's like a religion. They have their own flag. They have their own, it's almost like, if you ever seen like fanatical videos of like 1920s Germany, it's very similar. It's eerily similar what's going on. That's what a lot of people are saying. Let's listen to what this guy has to say.
Shane, to demand of staff that they accept transgenderism. Those are the questions that journalists should be asking. And journalists have a very important job in a democracy, obviously. That's investigative journalism. And that's journalism where there isn't an obsequiousness to the establishment and the people who have the power and the influence, but there's a willingness to participate in a right manner, giving the full truth and allowing justice to work its course.
So you got a little bit of Enoch Burke. Now, one thing earlier, I think you guys said you did hear. Let me see if I can find this video again. So you guys said you could hear this, I think. So I'm gonna look in the sidebar. So guys, I'm gonna play this because I don't have sound on this video. So if you guys hear it, tell me. Otherwise, I'm gonna stop playing. But I don't have any sound on this video at all.
And 2 years of my life have been.
So give me some ones if you're hearing these guys talk.
It's a sad place, Mountjoy Prison. A lot of very genuine people who have been let down, I would say,
just weird to
by
me.
the state, by the government, and in some cases by the courts.
You guys hear his voice at all? Anybody?
A sad place.
Okay, cool.
And when we have our courts in the state they are, that's not really a surprise. I was in the High Court for 40 minutes and making an application for the order of Judge Owens. The reason that was in Mountjoy Prison to be set aside, and laying out clearly how it was unconstitutional, that Judge Owens made no examination whatsoever of whether that demand that I mean,
you can't help but think of guys like William Wallace, freedom fighters, people who are fighting against the system. I mean, this is like one of the first times in history the government has tried to force people to say things, to classify someone by force them to do it, and then characterize it as hate speech if you don't go along with it. I mean, if you guys aren't seeing how dangerous this is, I don't know what we're going to be able to do. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's keep listening.
I call somebody they was legitimate, the heart of the case. And in that hearing, there was obfuscation by Judge Santley. He came out and he said it was about something that it wasn't. He said that what was before Owens was about procedure, when it was clearly stated that the issue before the board of the school was whether I would obey the direction of the principal. I likened it. I said to the judge, if the principal has said to me, you must jump out the first floor window, if that was her
pretty brave guy,
wouldn't the court have had to make an examination of that instruction? Wouldn't have had to look at it and see, was it legit?
I mean, guys, regardless of what you feel about his spiritual beliefs and what he stands for, give him a bunch of ones for his bravery. It's a rare man who will go to jail for what he believes in. People like Chili DeCastro are rare people who will stand up for what they believe in. So give him and Chili both a bunch of ones. Now, do you guys want me to keep on playing Enoch's video? It's only about 5 more, maybe 3 more minutes long, or I can move on to the next one. I just don't want to bore you guys too much because I know most of my audience likes to watch police beating people up and arresting people and stuff, like violent stuff. And I just wanted you to kind of see where the world's headed if we don't do something quick. Like guys like this, like your little brother who has a who's, believes in God or something, he'll end up in prison if he doesn't want to use someone's pronouns. That's pretty scary, man. Think about that. All right, I'm going to keep playing it for you guys. Just tell me, guys, in the sidebar with a bunch of twos when you want me to stop. It's only a few more minutes.
Judge Owens didn't do that. Judge Sanfey hasn't done that this morning. The court is again refusing to deal with it. We have a constitutional right in this country. I have a constitutional right to freely profess and practice my religion, to express freely my convictions and opinions. That's what this is all about. And
seems like a nice guy to me. I mean,
still refusing.
He's the kind of guy you'd be totally cool with having babysit your kids or be your teacher.
Goes back to the email that I got at 20 to 3 on the afternoon of the 9th of May 2022, when Principal Niamh McShane demanded that I call a male student, a boy in the school, by the they pronoun. That's how all this began. That demand was made of me. I was being compelled to accept and endorse transgenderism, a different belief, an anti-Christian belief, an anti-religious belief. But God made them male and female. He didn't make them they. It's a different belief. Yes. The court can say I'm a free man, but that's not true. I am not free. The court has refused. It's refusing to deal with the issue. It's refusing to rule on it. It's refusing to reinstate me.
Unbelievable.
Give me my rights, to acknowledge that my
the hypocrisy,
rights were
right?
taken
The
away
hypocrisy.
wrongfully, and that should never have happened.
As Enoch has just said, he's obviously standing outside the gates of Mountjoy this afternoon.
So what people are complaining about in Ireland and England and here for that matter is this two-tiered justice system, one for the political class and all the invaders that they invited in, and one for the natives who have to pay for everything. And the ideology that's being pushed on the majority, they don't want it, and they never did. But because of the lockdown on the news and social media, the people pushing this have been able to create a false sense of majority when there never was one. And now people are awakening to the fact that they've just been suppressed, and people are starting to wake up and form parallel systems. And we'll talk about forming our own parallel system in a little bit, so we don't have to deal with stuff like this. But let's keep going.
Enoch Burke is not a free man, and it's so important to emphasize that today. Enoch Burke is not a free man. And the judges have not come out this morning and said we were wrong, we trampled on the Constitution.
That's
we
right.
Didn't
it shouldn't be government enforced. That's the problem, guys. Forcing this crap on people, forcing teachers to push this stuff when it goes against their beliefs, and quite frankly, the beliefs of most of the parents.
They've let him off. They've let him off because the school is on holidays. And what we have now is Enoch Burke with this hanging over his head. He's outside Mountjoy prison, but he's not a free man, because as soon as he exercises his rights, the judge is dangling imprisonment before him. And I think that's a good it's a good analogy for the situation.
I wonder if they're related. What do you think?
Where the nation is in fear and trembling of ideologies that are being forced upon us in schools and right across society.
Interesting. It got the Gaelic.
Punished, and that's not acceptable.
The Department of Education are hoodwinking people. They're hoodwinking teachers. They're hoodwinking families, and coercing them and making them to believe that they have to accept and promote even transgender ideology, an ideology that's of the pit of hell, I would say. It's an anti-Christian ideology. It's the destruction of the youth of our country.
So hold on a minute.
And every teacher has a right.
So Lisa Ann's talking about taking them to the World Court, but you got to understand, these large corporations have bought and paid every CEO, every high court. I mean, pretty much from what I've heard, I can't prove it, but it makes sense that they would. We know that a lot of communist Chinese spies and agents, have been drivers for some of our government officials. I think Feinstein or Boxer had a communist Chinese limo driver spy for China for like 20 years. Eric Swalwell had a communist Chinese intern that he was banging. And, they're all just, dirty. And so the only chance you got, Lisa Ann, is to form a parallel system, homestead, homeschool, and just get out of that system where you're forced to participate in things that you disagree with to the most possible degree. That's all that Martin Luther King Jr. did, boycotting shops, boycotting businesses who refused to be kind to black people. Basically, that's what he did. And ultimately they wanted the money and they started catering to him. That's what happened. And there's no reason why we can't do the same thing. And definitely we need to fight their digital currency. And if they force it on us, we need to find other ways to trade so we can stay outside of their tracking system, which is a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights. They're trying to find backdoor pretextual methodologies to track everything you do in violation of your Fourth Amendment rights, saying things like, if you have nothing to hide, you should have nothing to fear. That's what Joseph Goebbels said. That was the Nazi minister of propaganda. And we see despots and tyrants always saying these same types of things. Klaus Schwab says the same thing as well. You should be happy about being chipped. After all, if you have nothing to fear, you should have nothing to hide. Insane, because they get to decide what is right, what is evil, and what is good. And they've decided it's okay to lock this guy away in prison because he doesn't want to endorse transgender ideology, which is part of transhumanism or the Baphomet movement that Klaus Schwab and the WEF pushes.
To say no. That's what
Yeah,
Enoch
absolutely.
Burke said.
Yes.
And the judge is attempting to wash his hands, like Pontius Pilate did, to wash his hands of the guilt today, because he knows there's up on
Parallel
2 months
systems
of
are your only
holidays
solution,
now.
guys.
And
You
people
have
are
no other
questioning-
opportunity.
People
That's
are
it.
asking questions. Why is this man in prison? So he's going to be the good guy today.
Hit
and
that like button.
tell him to
Do
get
it.
out of
Yeah.
prison. But it suits him. How dare he? How dare he? Enoch Burke has constitutional rights. Every citizen of this country has constitutional.
All right. So I'm thinking you guys have heard enough. I mean, you get the idea. You can see that he's a squared away guy. His family's squared away. He just doesn't want to use pronouns. He doesn't want to be forced. And the problem I have is, being a former, liberal Democrat, it was, back then we questioned authority. We didn't like wars. We didn't support any of the stuff that the modern Democrat Party, censorship, flooding the country with illegal aid. We didn't support that. We supported the flag. We served in the military. We believed in merit. We didn't believe that merit was racist. This new party it's just weird. It's not the same. It's almost like a bunch of Marxists who don't know anything about history other than what they learned from a plagiarizer who got a teaching credential because of DEI or ESG or something. I don't know. Just weird stuff. So let's get into what's going on over in Ireland. So over in Ireland, if you don't like the government or a politician, or you disagree with them, it's a lot different. In this case, there's been a violent response from the Church of Ireland because they're just like the Pope. They're pushing all the same stuff, painting the churches with rainbow flags. And it reminded me so much of King Herod and what happened under the Romans. Just because the leaders were paid off doesn't mean that it's good, guys. But let's keep watching and see what I'm talking about.
How dare you?
The Lord Jesus Christ said that God made them from the beginning, male and female. Archbishop McDougall, nothing to say.
It's their Archbishop.
In prison because the Church of Ireland School, Wilson's Hospital.
So this is the defender of the faith in Ireland. I mean, this imagine this in like 1980. If somebody said, "Father, one of your flock refuses to call boys girls and girls boys. One of your flock, he's abiding by the Bible." And here's the church's response is silence modernly. Back then they would have fought hard. Like now the Pope is saying we need to embrace all this stuff. So come on.
Hospital.
We need
No
answers.
violence.
Go
No
away.
violence.
No
No violence. There's a young man in prison. There's a young man in prison.
In prison.
There's a young man in
Tour
prison.
today.
354 days.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
Look how they treat
How dare
him.
you? Please, we're not being violent. This is peaceful. This is peaceful.
How dare you? This is assault. How dare you? How dare you? Her glasses.
Please,
Where's her glasses?
please, please.
Just go.
How dare you? How dare you? How
You
dare
see how
you?
they treat him,
How
right? I
dare
mean,
you? That's it.
so this is their high priest or whatever of Ireland refusing to say anything about this. And it kind of reminded me of the story of Herod the Great. So a lot of people, think that, well, the Pope says that, we should support illegal immigration. So we should just, whatever the law is, doesn't matter. We should support it. Or, The archbishop says you should be forced to use pronouns. And so basically the other people, the defenders of the Catholic faith, are looking at these guys like, you guys are crazy. We know what the Bible says. We're just because you've got this purple thing on, or you're wearing a dress with a weird looking hat, they're not going for it. And there have been other instances in history where the popes have been overthrown because of, forcing secular humanism ideology onto the church. And so that's what's been going on. And so King Herod is an example of that. King Herod was not even a Jew. He was an Edomite, and Edomites were like Kabbalists, and they're the ones who many people say brought the red shield and the pentagram symbol, because the true Jewish symbol is the Torah, the candle, what's it called? The minna something. You know what I'm talking about? The candle thing, that thing. That's the true symbol of the Jew, not the Solomon's seal. And so a lot of people say that that's where that comes from the Edomites. And so Herod the Great basically was able to get favor with the Romans. And so the Romans allowed him to rebuild the Jewish temple, which he rebuilt it much more extravagantly than it had been before, and sort of to prove that he was the best, king of the Jews, even though he wasn't really Jewish. He was like part Jewish or something. But we'll go ahead and listen to a little bit about Herod the Great so you can kind of understand what's going on, in my opinion, over in freaking Ireland right now.
Herod the Great was a ruler of Judea during the Roman period, and despite being of Idumean descent, which means he's from Edom, which is south of the Dead Sea, Herod became appointed as ruler by the Roman authorities. The fact that he was a non-Jew, along with his notably cruel manner of ruling, made him largely distrusted and resented by the Jewish people.
It's like the bishop.
Herod will remain infamous for his cruelty in slaughtering the children of Bethlehem. Scripture records, then Herod, when he saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, became furious, and he sent and killed all the male children in Bethlehem and in all that region who were 2 years old or under,
the menorah,
according to the time
right,
that he had ascertained from the wise men. It's recorded for us in Matthew chapter 2, verses 16 to 17. Now, Herod the Great was a ruler of Judea during the Roman period, and despite being of Idumean.
So you got the idea, right? So just because somebody wears the robes of a priest doesn't make them one. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And it's obvious that, the scriptures don't allow, it's God made man and woman, right? It's like, come on, give me a break. I mean, it's like, you got to give people who are like Christians or whatever, their piece of the pie too, guys. You can't just force them to accept all the stuff that you want to force on them, right? That's not freedom of religion. That's part of the First Amendment too. And look, I'm not a super religious person. I'm a historian. I'm a legal historian. And I just care about people in general. I care about transgender people too. I'm just saying that the militant faction of them trying to force their stuff on my children, that's unacceptable to me. Trying to force me or my kids to use certain pronouns, that's a violation of my First Amendment rights. I shouldn't have to do that. That's ridiculous. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree it's ridiculous that we should have to use someone's pronouns. It's crazy. Now, I'm going to sort of share with you what's going on. We're going to listen to my buddy Brett Pike. We'll let him explain to you how this happened and why.
Pepsi is in $44 billion of debt. Nike is in $11 billion of debt. And Starbucks is in $25 billion of debt. And this is true of virtually every publicly traded company. And here's how it happens. Companies like Pepsi bring in a CEO who has an MBA from business school and has been trained to maximize profit. And in order to do this, the company takes on debt to open up new markets, which requires more and more stores and more factories. They then make more of their stock available to the public to help pay off that debt. And this makes them vulnerable because investment firms like BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street come in and buy the stock. And each of these firms own about 5 to 15% of every major company. So why that number? Because it's enough to get their people on the corporate board. And these companies vote who will be on the corporate boards every 1 to 3 years. So the board members are very aware that BlackRock could have them replaced. And these are high-paying jobs. And then the board chooses the CEO. And it's his job to maximize profits and serve the corporate board. And now we get into why all of these corporations seemingly push the same agendas. Because BlackRock can demand that these companies practice ESG, which stands for Environmental Social Governance. Push the climate change agenda, push the social agenda, or be governed. And by governed, they mean removing members of the corporate board and replacing the CEO. And none of these people want to lose their multi-million-dollar bonuses. And this is why supporting private companies is so important. So take Twitter as an example. Elon Musk and the investors he partnered with purchased the company for $44 billion. And they transformed it into a private company, which means you can't buy stock in X. And this protects it from being leveraged by firms like BlackRock. And this is why they've had to find 1,000 other ways to threaten Musk. But they haven't been able to leverage him enough to shut down X. And because of that, free speech has been allowed, and the Overton window of American politics has shifted. Another company I like is Bass Pro Shop. Look how they embrace the American flag. And just like X, you can't buy their stock. They're a private company, which is why you've never seen them promote any of the social agendas, because they're still controlled by their founder, Johnny Morris, who has dedicated his life and his earnings to wildlife conservation. And they don't give in to political correctness, which is why his son, Johnny Morris Jr., could post legendary pictures like this. And I think if they knew about my books, The Right to Bear Arms, and on free speech in the modern world, they would carry them in Bass Pro Shops. So tag John Jr. so he sees this post. And let's teach the next generation what it means to be free.
All right. So guys, first of all, thank you everybody for joining me. Let me look over in the sidebar. Melania, thanks again on the menorah. I totally forgotten about that. And oy vey, I'm sorry. Grateful Dabs, I really appreciate it that Grateful Dabs watches all Brett's videos. So Brett Pike is a friend of mine, and I care about him and his family, and I want him to be successful. So I'm going to, at some point, be a sponsor of his products, which is, homeschooling kids and teaching them about appeal to authority, critical thinking, and about I just typed in the Overton window. Okay, so before we move on, I want to teach you guys a little bit if you don't understand the Overton window. So basically, we know that for the last probably 60 years or more, the hard left and big corporations have controlled all of the news stations. Even Fox News is just, it's basically controlled opposition. And so occasionally you would get something somewhat okay, but One American News and stuff like that, that's where you would probably find something that was a little like more on point. But all the other stuff was just pushing the same corporatized far left agenda. And so the Overton window, over time, people start accepting that. And they just think, well, this must just be normal. Maybe I'm the one that's a retard or like not thinking properly. Maybe I need to conform. But once freedom gets out of the bag, the Overton window takes over. And so the door has been so opened now with X. Like you saw what happened in Brazil. They're trying to shut down X, deprive people of free speech, charge them a $9,000 fine if they use a VPN, or a $7,000 fine if they use a VPN to access data. And then those of us who are capable of critical thinking are like, we're remembering books that they probably don't even teach you in school anymore, like 1984, George Orwell, or any kind of Ayn Rand novel. And you're going, oh my gosh, this is just like that. I mean, these people are despots. They're trying to silence me. They're trying to force me to accept things that I don't think are morally acceptable. And they're trying to force it on my children and not give me a say and take my children away if I disagree, AKA the Safety Act in California. And we just see it going on and on. So definitely, guys, hit that like and subscribe button, And guys, I really appreciate the last couple of weeks. You guys it helped me out a lot. The super chats, the coffees and all that stuff, it adds up, like I had a pretty good month. I mean, I actually was able with all the hours I put in on the channel, I actually made enough to buy some groceries for my kids. That was awesome. So, hey man, at least it was worth it either way, but I appreciate you guys supporting my channel. Now, Melania, thanks for showing. Bishop Hicks, 501c3, definitely. I think that those are ideas. I want to talk to you guys, Melania and Irene and Jeff and Jonah and all you guys, Dexter, about forming our own parallel systems where, you guys tell me what it is that you sell or you make, And then we all, put together a little organization like our own key club of patriots, right? And we'll just keep that list growing, that we don't support the BlackRock agenda. And what is the BlackRock agenda? Well, the BlackRock agenda, part of it is the World Economic Forum. Part of it is Bill Gates, population control, vaccines, and all that stuff, pumping your kids full of that stuff when they're just babies and all that stuff. It's all part of that. That's part of the BlackRock agenda. But the number one part of the BlackRock agenda is forcing behavior on people. So let's learn a little bit about from the horse's mouth what they mean by that. So we're going to just talk to Larry Fink. Nice guy. Larry.
It's an investment criteria for you.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors. 54% of the incoming class are women. We added 4 more points in terms of diverse employment this year, and what we are doing internally is if you don't achieve these levels of impact, your compensation could be impacted. Okay,
we're doing the same thing.
And so it's just you have to force behaviors, and if you don't force behaviors, whether it's
and so the behaviors that they've been forcing is the transgender thing, the Bud Light fiasco. That's all because of BlackRock and this guy, the ESG. So you have this social score where you have to hire a certain amount of black people, certain amount of women. White males are like the enemy. According to critical race theory, we're inexorably racist and incapable of being forgiven. And they literally teach this stuff in these so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion classes that a lot of these big corporations force their employees to undergo. And I've represented several people, and I'm not going to name names, who have successfully sued and won against large corporations connected with people like this guy forcing this ideology on their employees. And because they're forcing it, it's forced. You just said it. It's being forced. It's not being done voluntarily. And if the CEOs don't go along with it, they just cut off your pay. And the Catholic Church has a pretty powerful bank. And if they want to do business in the world economy, the Pope has to accept all this stuff as well. And that's what a lot of the people in Ireland are saying. They need a new Pope as well. They're just devastated about what's happening. And they put the blame squarely on these companies like BlackRock. But in reality, it's because these politicians are scumbags. So this is a situation here, a Brett Pike clip. I'm just looking at some stuff.
Jobs. And then the board chooses the CEO.
We already saw that one. And Brett's got some good stuff. Let's check out his trisodium phosphate one. This is pretty good.
Children's cereal. There it is, right from their website. And Cheerios too, right from the website. But don't worry, General Mills says it's all good because the FDA approved it. They say it's generally recognized as safe. What do you think? Is that what our kids deserve? Generally recognized as safe? But that's the thing about our food system. The FDA will make sure you don't bite into something and drop dead, but they will allow a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And what effect does that have on our bodies over a long period of time? Meal after meal, day after day, week after week. And that's the difference between a company that's all about profit versus a company that puts love into their products. And here's what I mean by love. This is the 7 Sundays cereal company. They're a private company located in Minnesota and owned by this family. Look at these legends. 7 Sundays is unapologetically real, made with 100% real food, no artificial flavors, natural flavors, no dyes, preservatives, no weird stuff. They put it right on their website. And they put this chart on, which I love. Big cereal, sugar-loaded, GMOs, artificial colors, artificial flavors, deceiving health, industrialized farming, degrading quality, marketing junk to kids, profit over everything. Now compare that with 7 Sundays. 100% real food, no refined sugars, no artificial or natural flavors, certified glyphosate free, allergen and diet friendly.
Love it.
Non-GMO, project verified. It's their goal to provide their customers the healthiest product possible. And that's what I mean by love. They care about you, opposed to these mega corporations who will push the line as far as they can to maximize profit. So they're fine with ingredients that are generally recognized as safe, but I'm not. And the way we build a better world is by spending our money with good companies.
Amen.
So if you're going to buy cereal anyway, bookmark 7sundays.com and get it from their website. So your family who you love can have ingredients sourced with love. And the crazy thing about that is if enough people live that way, it will actually force the mega corporations to use better ingredients. And no, I'm not being paid by 7 Sundays. I've never spoken to them. I'm just this based. It's why I started a homeschool company and built out a year-long nature unit study on healthy living. So our kids could learn what ingredients to watch out for. They could garden and build their own greenhouse, grow onions, and then learn how to preserve them and do cool things like make their own butter. We have cookbooks, lessons that guide children to make their own healthy products, and lessons to learn about herbology, because we can give our kids an education worthy of freedom.
Amen.
And of course, check out my books on healthy living, rights fundamental to being an American, the history our kids should know, and so much more.
So guys, give me a bunch of ones for constantly introducing you back to Brett Pike. And I know a lot of the guys, they just want to come here. You know, I get like, thousands of views when I just talk about cops. And I know it goes down to like 500 or 600 views when I talk about morally based things. So I'll try to mix it up more to get both people, to at least give an opportunity for them to see Brett. But parallel systems, guys, I keep talking about parallel systems. Now I've shown you a couple of examples of parallel systems. A cereal company, right? You could start making healthy organic foods. And then everybody here on this channel right now should be buying that cereal from that person. And Brett Pike and I should be promoting your company like he does. And we don't get paid. When I find somebody that I'm promoting like Brett, there's no payment involved. It's because I'm doing the right thing, but I buy his products, and I definitely tell all of you guys to homeschool on his program, become farmers, learn about homesteading, and get off of all this horrible big pharma, DEA, FDA, CDC, just revolving door employment from these big companies where it's all about profits. They put garbage in our food. They put things into our children's bodies. We don't even know what it is. It's time to end all that, guys. Form parallel systems. Start eating proper nutrition, exercise, take care of yourself. Read Psalms and Proverbs every day if possible. Do things that are good for your mind. That's all I'm telling you. Now, so we got to do a little bit of stuff with Brett. And so, again, this show today was dedicated to Enoch Burke. So you guys got to see a little bit of Enoch Burke. And now we'll see if I get in trouble for playing this, but this is a cool song. And this is one of the things that I love about Ireland, guys, is that they just, when they have folk heroes, they love them in their songs. And here's a great example of that.
Here's a little song I'm after writing for Enoch Burke. Just say thank you, brave man you are, for doing what you did.
Enoch Burke. Hi.
This is called Free Man.
Free Man.
There was an innocent man locked up in Mount jail, imprisoned all because of his beliefs, because he wouldn't agree with the trans ideology that the government are trying to push on their family. Enoch is free, yay! Enoch is free. He's the man that's done his time for you and me, cause he wouldn't agree with the trans ideology. Now I think they were trying to throw away the key.
Thanks, Drophead. I appreciate it, man.
I can't kill his mother. She raised a warrior. He done his time in the joy when he's held head high. All because he wouldn't agree with the trans ideology that the government are trying to push on their families. Yeah, Enoch is free. Enoch is free. Yo, he's the man that's done his time for you and me, because wouldn't agree with the trans ideology that the government are trying to push on to our family.
Hi, Jeff. Come on, dog.
Enoch is free. Enoch is free. Oh, he's the man that's done his time for you and me. Because he wouldn't agree with the trans ideology that the government are trying to push on our family. Thank you, Enoch.
So that's just an example of what's going on over there. Like they've got their own thing going on over there, and a lot of the people are complaining that it kind of reminds them of like this kind of stuff.
Where are your papers, Mav? Where are they? Oh, you don't have any papers?
I mean, that's really what it boils down to, guys. If you don't accept their ideology and their forcible speech, they'll, once they get their digital currency, you're done. You're toast. They'll have the ability to shut down your bank accounts, deny you the ability to travel. They're already doing it in communist China. And we know that Google helped them build that over there. And they're doing the same thing in Canada. I mean, Trudeau loves communist Chinese. So does this Waltz guy who lied about serving in combat and lied about being a command sergeant major. These guys are all just a bunch of frauds, and they don't care about us. And so, again, if you want to save this country and save your families, I recommend that you try to form parallel systems. If you have a product, get your family involved in making it, manufacture things, sell stuff. I'll pay extra money to buy from somebody that I like and trust to get off of this corporate slavery that we have with guys like Larry Fink. I mean, I think that you guys should be throwing up right now. This guy controls all of the major corporations pretty much in this country, their CEOs, and he wants to force this ideology that the vast majority of people in this country do not support. He wants to force that on you and your family.
It's an investment criteria for you.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors. 54% of the incoming class are women. We added 4 more points in terms of diverse employment this year, and what we are doing internally is if you don't achieve these levels of impact, your compensation could be impacted. Okay,
we're doing the same thing.
And so it's just you have to force behaviors, and if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted. And that's not recruiting, it is development, as Ken said.
It's coming for you.
And ultimately, it's still going to take time, but I am just as much shocked as Ken is that we have not seen more opportunities, and we're going to.
That's because most people don't buy into his religious cult. So that's the problem. The religious cult of wokeism is not something that most people support. The only reason it's gained any traction is because his cabal has had control over all the major newspapers until Musk was able to free Twitter and create X. Otherwise, you wouldn't have even known about the Twitter files. You wouldn't have known about the censorship campaign, the lie about the Hunter Biden laptop that they knew they were lying about the whole time. They knew the whole time it wasn't Russian disinformation. They knew the whole time that it was real, and they lied about it. Government agents on your tax dollars lied to you about it and tried to blame it on Russian disinformation. Do you really believe anything these guys say? Now, here's another issue that I'm hearing about, because I was a Marine, and I got a lot of my buddies who are getting out of the military going, man, this woke crap, we're done. So,
with the Secretary of the Army about replacing aging homes at Fort Leonard Wood in my home state. And there is no doubt in my mind that service members deserve better than they're getting right now. I was just there a few weeks ago. I toured the homes myself. I spoke to residents. I spoke to spouses. I spoke to children who live in the homes. These homes need to be replaced. What concerns me is the Army doesn't seem to have a plan to replace this aging housing stock. So let me just ask you this. In your opinion, how does the availability, or maybe lack of availability, of quality military housing for service members and their families affect recruiting and retention?
Senator Hawley, good afternoon. The Army takes the care and quality of life of all of our service members and their families very seriously. So we are making and committed to investing in our housing within not just that, but within our daycare centers, childcare, offering opportunities, expanding beyond that for spousal employment, to put kind of a whole package on the table to ensure that our facilities and our care and commitment towards family members is first class.
When you say a whole package, when will we be seeing this package?
Senator, we continue to work on it, and I can take that question for the record, please.
Well, that's fine. I mean, but let me just say again, for the record, I've said this in the full committee, I'll say it again here, that I think we're past the point of continuing to kick this down the road. I mean, this is a problem now. Frankly, at Fort Leonard Wood, it was a problem a decade ago. But listen, I've been there. I mean, I've seen it myself. I've talked to the service members myself. I've been in their houses. I've been in their kitchens. I've looked at their bathrooms where there's mold growing. I've seen that they don't have places for their kids. I've seen this.
So anyways, you get the idea. So our military is in shambles, and the answer for the Biden administration, for the most part, has been to push this diversity, equity, and inclusion formula on the military, the same one that all of his campaign donors at BlackRock have forced on all these companies and your families and kids. And the problem with that is they say that merit is racist. And so the Marine Corps in particular is 1,000% merit-based system. So when you have this ideology come in, and it's like a cancer. And so now all the guys that we used to call shitbirds, they put them into positions of authority. So like basically losers are, what I'm hearing, are put into positions of authority based on, them being a transgender or them being black or being a girl, instead of based upon their merit, their achievements, right? Or they'll just give you a lower score if you're a white male, right? And increase their scores based upon things like their race or gender or sexual preference, whatever it might be. And so a lot of people in the military are just like the old school guys, are infuriated, like, we're out of here. And, you couple that with the fact that, the Veterans Administration just is horrible ever since this administration took power. It's right back to the way it was, like under Obama, just horrible. The VA is a joke. I mean, give me a bunch of ones if you're a veteran like I am and are disabled and have to deal with the Veterans Administration. Give me a bunch of ones. What a joke it's become over the last 2 or 3 years. So we're, a lot of that stuff is going on. So anyway, so that was pretty much that. So that was, you got to learn a little bit about Enoch Burke and what's going on over in Ireland. And now we are going to support my friend Chili, because I know that since he's been out, he's got to get his groove back on. And he's had some pretty cool videos that I have found. And we're going to go over a couple of them. And I'm going to give you my lawyer's reaction, my attorney perspective on these videos. So let me just get them. Let me get them. So the first one is going to be about the police taking out a dog. And this is just unbelievable. I mean, I just can't believe stuff like this is still going on. But let's check it out.
Black retriever mix is shot and killed by a police officer responding to a report of out-of-control dogs. But the slain dog owner says it's the cop who was out of control, and his fury was unleashed at a city council meeting.
This guy is furious. He was addressing the city council, but when he's told his 3 minutes are up, he loses it. A crowd of supporters gather around him. They're rallying around Don Hesseltine, whose dog was just gunned down by a police officer. Newly released body cam footage shows the family's black retriever mix rush towards the officer. The cop draws his gun and shoots. The dog, named Mist, runs off, whimpering.
Shots fired. I just shot a dog.
Surveillance footage from moments before shows the family pet playfully running alongside Hesseltine's son and cousin who are on their bikes. The officer is responding to a report of 4 dogs on the loose. The cop says he asked the children to put the dog on a leash. Surveillance from the family's front yard shows the horror that unfolds next.
Oh my gosh. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. 4 shots fired. I just shot a dog.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting, right?
I'm 10-2.
Okay, so, before you guys get too grossed out, again, I want you guys, make sure to like and subscribe to Delete Laws. This is a very good friend of mine, Chile de Castro. He was a political prisoner, and I consider him to be a national treasure. And the stuff that he has done fighting for free speech in his own way that he's got it, I absolutely support him. So I want you guys to watch this video. Make sure to always like and subscribe to Delete Laws, and tell him to get his constitutional law channel going. He has this timeline where he shows how the Supreme Court justices were put in power and what corporations were behind a lot of them. Like, you notice one of the last ones refuses to define woman. How do you think that appointment was made possible? I mean, it sounds kind of like an ESG appointee, doesn't it? That's a BlackRock, right? But Chile kind of shows you how big business and big corporations are behind. They're the hidden hand behind all this stuff that's going on. So let's keep on going and watch this bad chicken. Now, really quick, just so you guys know, we're going to talk about what rights the family has to sue. Okay, and I'm going to discuss it under the California law for the damages for their dog and potentially emotional distress for the kids and the mother for what happened. So we'll talk about the legal aspects of that. Let's watch this.
Right outside the residence. Hey! Yeah, I'm 10-2. Maybe expedite down here, though.
I don't know about you, but I'd probably be trying to grab my shotgun right about now.
No, she wasn't.
So one thing I do want to point out. So let's say that there was just a civilian walking down the sidewalk and the dog came at that civilian and the civilian was armed and the civilian was in danger and he shot the dog. How would you feel? Would you believe that the guy was in the right, defending himself, acting in self-defense? What makes it different about the officer? Because I know what I'm going to say, but put it in the comments what you think. What makes it different? And then obviously, a lot of people are saying, I've looked at the comments on other channels, and a lot of people are saying, well, why didn't they have their gate, the fencing up, or why wasn't the dog on a leash? And, I got to tell you, as somebody who used to train dogs, Rottweilers, I'm a firm believer that you need to keep your dog either on a leash or penned, just because of the fact that if he did get out, especially my dogs, because they were like 160 pounds, people would be so terrified just by the way they look, like German Rotties, they would shoot them. And so in my opinion, there is some fault on the family for having the dog loose, but let's get into it. Like, why was the cop there? Like, did this even have to happen? Because if this was just some BS call or he's just out there doing some nonsense, then we got a problem, Houston. Let's keep on watching.
Yeah, 10-4.
That's true, Brick. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, dogs naturally are, if they see a guy in a uniform, they just, for some reason, they instinctively look at that as a potential enemy. Dogs are super smart, and they're naturally going to want to protect their family. But I agree with Brick. If you automatically pull your gun, you're not properly trained. Yeah, I mean, well, there are times when you would automatically pull your gun if you were properly trained, and that's because you're so good at it at detecting a threat. But in this case, I don't know. I'm not convinced that the dog was going to bite him. I don't know about you guys. And I think that, to be honest with you, I would have let the dog bite me before I shot him. I would have pulled out my baton. I would have tried to create distance with my legs and maybe try to tase the dog if it tried to bite me, I think. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, would that be a pretty base thing to do? I mean, to me, I fought off dog attacks before. I was armed at the time. And I never thought once about using a knife or my pistol, ever. I just fought him off with kicks and faced him, and eventually the dog gave up because the dog realized that I wasn't going to turn my back. What they're hoping you'll do is turn your back so they can jump on your back and bite your butt and stuff, show dominance. And then they usually stop after they bit you a few times. But that's typical of dogs. That's what they do. Obviously, it's a problem here. The Brick's right, man. Give me a bunch of ones for Brick's comment. I think he's got a point. Let's keep watching. So sad.
Ma'am, I got a supervisor on the way, okay?
I just killed your family member.
Ezra, where's Ezra?
Yeah, 319 Oak Street. Ma'am.
That's right.
Hey, ma'am, what's the address here?
That's right.
What's that? Just wait.
2124 Telegraph Road.
I'm going to be in the alley just north of 2124 Telegraph Road.
Now, one of the things I wanted to point out, because I do teach a CQB class, is there were children potentially in the line of fire, or definitely in the line of ricochet fire. And because, you don't know, just because there was grass, you don't know if there's stones or whatever, ricochet fire. So there were literally children within feet of that dog. So to me, being somebody who is very well trained and regulated in the use of firearms, I just think that guy probably should be charged with some kind of criminal negligence at the very least. It certainly shouldn't be on any law enforcement force.
Sweet boy. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hold on a second. Help me understand this. Who created the policy that the cops could shoot dogs? The cops did. Who voted on that policy? The cops did. Who decided that it was actions are lawful if you kill someone's dog? The cops said that. Did you vote on that? That cops could kill your dog because the dog barks at him as being aggressive, because that's what dogs do when you're around the children that the dog was just playing with for hours on end. As soon as a stranger comes up in some uniform, the dog is going to be aggressive towards him. That's right. But he didn't bite him. So the actions were lawful because the cops said it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about with leadership. When I'm governor, that policy will be
changed.
I'll take their guns
for
away.
governor.
You no longer need to make split-second decisions anymore with cameras everywhere. You no longer need to make a split-second decision. It just is not necessary anymore in today's day and age.
That's right. That's right, Chili.
Is he?
Oh my gosh.
See that? He's putting the hand out as though he's giving a treat. Every dog knows when you put your hand out like that, you're giving a treat to him.
Yep.
So the dog who stopped right here is going to approach when the cop makes the sign that he's going to give him a treat. See, look, he's looking for the treat. Watch it again.
Okay. It's okay. 4 shots fired.
I mean, you gotta be kidding me.
I'm 10-2. Right outside the residence. Hey!
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I'm 10-2. Maybe X.
So this is what we're seeing. They create a policy that makes it legal to do to us and to our family and to our pets whatever they want to do, whatever they decide the policy is. And then hey, it was legal.
That's right.
It's in our policy book that if a dog comes at me and barks and snaps and growls, I can shoot him. It was legal. I just smoked the dog.
The fatal shooting comes after an incident just last month when the same officer accidentally ran over an unleashed dog and killed it.
God.
Here's the officer speaking to the stunned owner after hitting the dog.
That's why you gotta have your dog on a leash, bro.
Officer Ethan Bach also makes this callous call over the radio.
Some freaking dog just ran out here and I smoked it.
Sorry about that. I had to smoke it. You had to smoke a dog?
What a dick.
Like, these are not hot dogs. What? These...
Now this heartbroken man wants the police department to know his dog wasn't just a puppy, he was a cherished family member.
Your local police department's hiring right now. The policy of 99.9% of all police departments in America is that if a dog barks at you and you're scared, that you can shoot and kill the dog.
Yep.
But sign up to be a cop. Everybody right now, you can sign up to be a cop right now. They need people right now. The cops need people because they can't get anybody to sign up to be a cop.
Anybody.
There's your policy, procedure, and protocol right there. You just saw it. The policy, procedure, and protocol is that if you're scared, then you can go ahead and you can kill that dog if you want to. If you want to kill the dog, you can. All you have to do is say that you're scared. That's right. That's all it requires.
All you have to do.
The Fifth Amendment cop card is the only card you need in your wallet when you see a JBTP. Remember, cops are not your friend. If you're walking down the road and a cop interacts with you, the moment you see the cop, you get the yellow card in your hand. You have to have a pair of Fifth Amendment cop cards in your wallet at all times. If you carry your credit cards in your phone, it's the exact same size as your Visa, as your driver's license. The number one defense that you have against these JBTPs is your camera and the Fifth Amendment cop card.
Thanks. To get to the
My
gym,
name is Chili
guys.
Castro, and I am Delete Laws.
Yeah. That was badass, man. That was sick. All right. So we'll just really quick, we're just going to go over a couple of things. So first of all, as a general legal principle, at least in California and Texas, a dog is not considered, it's considered to be chattel property. So like, you know, the word chattel, I think it comes from cattle. It just means property. And because it's property, it would be just like if someone stole something from you as far as your damages that would be available. So if it was a prize dog or a stud dog, you might be able to get more, but the emotional damages, they're just not available. Now, there may be some states, I know that there was a jurisdictional split, I believe, in one of the appellate districts in California years ago, where it was allowed, but it was a very unique, interesting thing. And I don't know if it got reversed or what happened, but typically you're not going to be entitled to damages like pain and suffering, for example, for the death of an animal caused by a jackboot thug pig. And the cop will have the defense of self-defense. And there probably is a local ordinance that says dogs have to be locked up. So he's probably going to be shielded for that part of it. But he won't be shielded, in my opinion, at least if it's a decent Police Department, as part of their investigation, they should look at the fact that there were children in the line of fire when he shot that dog. And so to me, being a dad and being a firearms expert and a close quarters battle expert, I just feel as though, given the totality of the circumstances, an objectively reasonable officer should have handled the situation much differently. And then sort of his personality and the kind of person he is came out. I just smoked a dog. I mean, what an asshole, right? I mean, you don't talk like that. That is somebody who is jaded against the public. That is somebody who should not be on the police force. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Anyways, that was a really great video from Chili. Now I've got another one. Let me try to find it. He's always got the best stuff, man. All right. Let me just try to cue this bad chicken up. All right. So here's another one. Theater mode, this bad chicken, and let's go.
He said, man has a 7 on his shirt.
He have a hat on? No. Do I look like I had a hat on?
That's what one of the undercovers told the black and white. They made that up.
Hold on, they're about to get rough. It's also awesome. Oh no, it's like getting rough with you. Dude, my arms behind my back. Yes, sir. Right now you can't be detained, so it's just wow. Remember this, guys. I told you this might happen.
You know this part, you understand exactly why I really was flipping the fuck out.
I'm not running or nothing. I didn't run away from this fat ass. I would have bounced on it. Overreach, Sergeant Corey Max, stuck in handcuffs because these guys have decided that I fit a description.
And he took a picture they took of me downstairs, dude, walking down the fucking street.
Wrinkle.
Romany Coop. Hello there. My name is Corey McAfella. This is my first day in high society. What are you stopping me for, sir?
We just had a shoplifting incident.
Okay, what does that have to do with me? I fit the description.
Okay, stop talking. I'm going to explain it to you. Okay, you keep interrupting. This isn't going to work. The reason I stopped you, we were shoplifting down at 619 Decatur. I called the sergeant who was over there, did the investigation. He said, man has a 7 on his shirt.
Man has a 7 on his shirt. You're not checking me, bro. Call everybody.
He's coming.
Call everybody. You're not touching me. We're going to make a spectacle out of this one.
That's fine. You got your camera on, I got my camera on. That's the reason why I stopped you. Okay? So we're just hanging out right now. He comes over and is like,
oh, baby. Yeah, he's fucking with the wrong, but he doesn't know that. You're going to be so embarrassed.
They wonder why people run. Well, the reason why innocent people run or guilty people is because you know they're going to put torture cuffs on you. And as soon as another person gets there, they're going to put you in torture cuffs and say you're being detained.
Right. I literally MC out here on a break, but that's cool. Former Marine, 47 years old.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
I was in the Air Force
with the wrong one today, bro. Somebody said somebody shoplifted. He thought he could just. I was going for 11 logistics, bro. You're bugging the fuck out of me. I got shit to do. And I've already had some bullshit with y'all earlier today because you think that niggas walk around here and everybody's a fucking criminal. You can just treat them how you want to. But no, sir. You picked a professional entertainer that everybody loves out here. And I have loyal friends, and you bother me. So if you could just leave me be, I would have a great night.
Wait till the sergeant was doing the investigation over there. He comes over here and says, no, that's not him.
So am I being detained?
You're being detained right now. Sir.
Cool. And I'm being detained because someone has a number 7 on their shirt?
Yeah, because he said, he's got a number 7.
A number 7 on their shirt. That was enough. Is it a black man?
It was a black
man. Did he have an afro with beautiful hair like mine? With a black backpack?
Okay, wait. I didn't have my backpack until the evening when I actually went home to go grab my.
Sorry, Melania.
The whole story. So I'm like, bro, I didn't even have a fucking backpack on yet, dude. I literally just walking down the street, man.
This is what you do for a living? That's gotta be fucking tragedy. Well, you're bothering a citizen of the United States of America for no reason. Because you're terrible at being a detective.
Well, you're not a professional law enforcement.
Well, I'm a professional entertainer, and you know what? I'm a comedian, and you're being a clown right now, and it's funny.
Hold any weight.
It doesn't either what you're doing.
Okay.
This is what you get paid to do. I'd be embarrassed. You got to go home with this, but I'm gonna go home with something gold. So thank you.
I'm gonna go home and sleep at night.
I would be embarrassed if this is what made me sleep at night to harass citizens.
Yeah.
No, not me. I'm not the one. Wow. These guys are a trip.
So how far away is the Walgreens that they said that you shoplifted from?
It's at least 6 to 8 blocks. At least.
Yeah, there's people over here. He don't feel so stupid when there's people. Am I the Negro that y'all looking for? No, sir. Get the fuck out of here.
Hold up. But right now, bro, you're being detained for an investigation.
Okay,
Right?
no, that's fine. Do what you got to do, weirdos. Yeah, ain't nothing in there. There's nothing.
He have a hat on?
No. Do I look like I had a hat on? Look at my beautiful locks, bro. I'm an entertainer here. I was going to get some food. That's why I got a 360 camera.
Let me explain something.
I don't care, dude. You guys are harassing me, and I would like to be not touched. Please stop touching me.
Right now, you don't have that privilege not to be touched.
Why are you touching
You're going
me?
to be touched because you're being detained for an investigation of a theft. Okay.
The investigation of a theft.
Yes. I'm Sergeant Jackson, Sergeant Weeden.
Now they're getting rough.
And
baby.
this is Sergeant Dupree, right?
Hold on, baby.
Sergeant Dupree.
Hold on. They're about to get rough.
Oh, no, ain't nobody getting rough with you, dude.
Hold on.
I mean, you're not going to give us a reason to get rough, are you?
What are you bending? What are you doing with your arms? Put my arms behind my back.
Yes, sir.
Right now you're being detained, so just...
I
Wow.
tell you, you're simply being detained
Wow.
now for an investigation of a theft. Can one of y'all grab the manager over at Walgreens and bring her around here?
Wow. 619?
Yeah.
That's
They put
wild,
you in the
man.
cuffs and they don't think that they're torturing you, but the whole process is torture.
Sure is.
So I'm trying to figure
Would
out.
you put a fucking dog in handcuffs?
No,
Dude,
no.
Look, if a dog bit somebody, they would put him in handcuffs. They'd be like, oh, well, you know, what did you do to the dog?
I'm not gonna run. I ain't do shit.
I don't know that.
I was right there with Gary Walker. You guys are idiot.
Huh?
You guys are. You guys are fucked up for this. I'm a Marine. I'm a former Marine. Check my shit on my license. Check my record. I don't have any problems,
Get
dude. I'm a
motivated.
47-year-old man. I entertain out here, dude.
Okay.
I was
Okay,
literally
well,
walking from you saying okay, but you still got me in these handcuffs.
We got a description of a black male.
But I'm not running or nothing. I didn't run away from this
Black
fat
shirt,
ass. I would have
number
bounced on
seven.
him, dude. Like, what I got on toe shoes, bro. I'm fit. I would have bounced on this guy. I'm not. I was like, what is he stopping for? This is funny. I'm not trying to go anywhere, but you got me in. Hey, I've been talking and making fun of him on the phone with my wife the whole time, recording him. Where am I going? I'm a comedian, bro. I'm a
You have an
comedian.
ID on you, sir?
Yes,
Can I
that's
see
what
it?
I'm trying to say, dude. You guys
Can
didn't
I
even
see
ask
it?
me for none of that.
Can I see your ID?
Yes, you can, dude. It's in my front pocket. Go ahead and check veteran on that, bro. I'm a grown ass man. Everybody out here knows I'm an entertainer. You guys are the only idiots that are here that don't know any better. Like, patrol better. No, this is wrong.
I'll tell you something right now. It's a big deal that he's a Marine too, because every cop, these fat ass cops, they know that we've got that superior training, that superior bearing and discipline, and that we're savages and animals and highly disciplined. And they know that they stepped in some shit by messing with this guy.
Yeah, well, you got me in handcuffs. I'm gonna fucking call you out your name. You got me in handcuffs and said I'm disrespectful. That's what am I talking to the Gestapo? Remember this, guys. I told you this might happen.
You know this part, you understand exactly why I really was flipping the fuck out. Because I said, I know what this is about, motherfuckers, actually. It ain't about shoplifting, assholes. You're lying.
Right. Former Marine Sergeant Corey Max stuck in handcuffs because these guys have decided that I fit a description.
Right.
It's awesome because I've been here 47 years, done a lot of things, and you know what? This is the first time I actually fit the description. Like even my articulation should have told them that I'm gainfully employed and that I don't have to shoplift. Guys are bad at this job, and that's why the crime rate is high in the city.
I do feel bad for him.
Harassing the citizen
Messed
and
up,
not
man.
the actual criminals. Like I can walk down the street and point at I can actually point at all the criminals on this block, and you got the one that's not. That's gotta be. That's like the worst police officer work ever.
2 or 3 Walgreens. I just went to the closest one that I thought they were talking about. I wouldn't even. It didn't even. The one that they were talking about was way away from where the hell I was.
Oh, but you're a black guy wearing number 7. So
Dude, I was about a half a mile from that one. I went to the closer one because that just made sense to me.
I'm still waiting on them. I don't know what they're doing. They're just fucking wasting my
Well, at
time.
least I know if they say, give me an explanation.
What explanation did they ask for? He asked for nothing. He jumped out and said I'm being detained.
But I explained to you why.
But I don't feel I have to be in handcuffs. This is demeaning. And you guys just feel that comfortable with doing that to an innocent person. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You put an innocent man in handcuffs and said he's being detained. Nigga singing Swing Low. I fit a description. Somebody shoplifted with a number 7, so now I'm the guy.
I remember you.
Thank you, bro. You see? Yeah, tell them who I am. They don't know. Thank you. Thank you, brother. These clowns. I love when I'm not doing anything and somebody harasses me, because I do feel the vindication of the good Lord in my spirit. Like, fuck this is bullshit. And we both know it. Well, all 3 of us know it. But they're just doing their job like Hitler and the Gestapo.
Exactly.
Everybody's just doing their job.
Everybody's just doing their job.
My job every day. Can I replace my battery since you guys have kept me here so long? I'm gonna reach into my bag. Please don't shoot me. Check all those stolen goods I got in there. Of course I'm gonna hack it all. That's when I'm get that person over here. I gotta get to my bag in about 15 minutes. No, she can't leave because she can't leave. Now I get to go. Are you fucking kidding me? I want to see this motherfucker. I want to see this. Now you can just let me go. Nah, fuck that. I want to go over there. Why can't we go over there to see who actually called the police on somebody with a number 7? I told you description of the individual. Does they say yellow shorts? Look at these white ass yellow shorts. Nobody. So he said number 7 and not Jamaica. Get the fuck out of here. Good night. Good night. Thanks for keeping the streets safe. You fucking great police work. No, that's so absurd, man. Because I look like one motherfucker said I look like I don't steal, and I got NOPD on my ass like I'm a thief. Struggle getting in a fucking car. Congratulations.
I'm going to tell you what I really believe happened. Check this out. Because I'm an MC and a DJ there, I was out there about 10:30 in the morning. So I'm out there, and there's a state trooper that just magically pops up behind me, and he says, "You need to get out of here." And I turned around like, "Who the fuck are you talking to?" And he looks at this other guy, that's another black guy, and he goes, "Hey, you need to tell him, you need to teach him." And I looked at him, I was like, I don't think this guy understands. And when I say who he's talking to, I don't mean like, I think I'm somebody special. I just mean like, dude, I have a purpose for being out here. So anyway, I go inside the club or bar that just happens to be open right next to where I'm standing when he said that bullshit. And I get a beer, and then I put my camera on earlier in the day, dude, this is around 1:30, 2 o'clock. And I sit down, and I'm seeing these 3 state troopers like just really fucking eyeballing me hard as fuck. And I was like, maybe they thought I was some young dumb nigga, but I'm like, nah, dude, you talking to the wrong one today, bro. So here's where the shit gets wild, man. I see a bunch of goofy ass, corny ass guys walk up to those cops, and I went, oh, those are undercover cops. That's why they told me to get the fuck out of here. They're setting up for later. In my head, I was like, okay, now even more so fuck those guys. I was like, I wasn't bothering you. I said, why even tell me to leave? Even if I did, even if I know everybody, that ain't your right to tell me to leave Bourbon Street or any other public fucking place like that. So I go into the office and I see the entertainment manager, and I go, hey man, are those do those guys work here or something? Like are they doing like some business here, or those cops or something? He goes, those guys are undercover cops, and they're pending an investigation in the club. They're looking like a couple, he said, like the last weekend they were able to arrest a few people selling drugs and shit like that. And I went, oh, I knew it. And I started laughing to him. I said, bro, I fucking knew it. And he says, and he sent me a picture of the picture they took of me downstairs, dude, walking down the fucking street. And he says, I'm trying to explain to them that you work with us and that you have nothing to do with none of that shit.
The whole bit that it's the guy's wearing a number 7 on his shirt, that's what one of the undercovers told the black and white. Yeah, it's the guy wearing a number 7 shirt, so that they could grab you and hem you up. There was no Walgreens
employee who said the black guy was the number 7 on his shirt. They made that up. Does the manager of Walgreens come around?
No, dude. She said, this is what they said. She said, they said she can't make it. You're free to go.
Oh, so it was all a lie.
Yeah.
They were
So it
praying,
was about
dude.
them trying to get a drug arrest and say
Yes.
that you shoplifted somewhere, but then the manager from the Walgreens just can't make it over to ID you?
Yeah, like, get the fuck out of here. You did all of that, but now you're going to let me go? I was like, bro, you fucking piece of shit.
The Fifth Amendment cop card is the only card you need in your wallet when you see a JBTP. Remember, cops are not your friend. If you're walking down the road and a cop interacts with you, the moment you see the cop, you get the yellow card in your hand. You have to have a pair of Fifth Amendment cop cards in your wallet at all times. If you carry your credit cards in your phone, it's the exact same size as your Visa, as your driver's license. The number one defense that you have against these JBTPs is your camera and the Fifth Amendment cop card. Thanks. My name is Chili DeCastro, and I am Delete Laws.
That was pretty cool. Kind of digging Chili's videos, kind of looking pretty sick. So we'll do one more. So just really quick, you know, the problem is the police have the authority to lie to you. But I got to tell you, that's kind of bad policing. They're literally saying the manager of Walgreens are identifying the witness. So if that really was the case, they would be putting that witness's life in danger if that guy was in fact a drug suspect, that potentially dangerous guy, right? So think about that, how retarded or how ridiculous that sounds, that they're going to identify who the witness is. So when this guy gets out of lockup, he can go and massacre him. I mean, what a terrible bunch of policing that was. Eat my shorts, Copper, Melania. Hello is for suckers. Thanks, Jeff. I'll do, you know, look, I know I didn't probably get a lot of love from the algorithm gods because I talked about, you know, what's going on over in Ireland with their anti-free speech, forced speech agenda, the transhuman agenda that World Economic Forum and BlackRock is pushing on our families and our children. And it was just important for me to cover because I have lifelong friends who live over in Ireland and Scotland and England. And I've just been getting hit up because they're saying, dude, if we post stuff like this over there, they'll arrest us. We're not allowed to talk about being pro-Irish. They'll say that we're racist if we support our country. And so can you please help us out? So I just wanted to spread the word for you guys to see what's going on over in Ireland. So the first part, you got to learn a little bit about it. And hey, Jonah, it's super good. You found my channel because of that, because of the Irish thing, the Enoch Burke. Because if that's so, that's awesome. Because I really, really am a proponent of the Bill of Rights and natural law, and I think it's just a tragedy. All these countries have invited people in from countries where they've been taught from birth to hate Westerners, and a lot of these sub-Saharan African cultures are highly inbred. There was a show on Joe Rogan. That's one of the reasons why they all look so similar, because they're highly, highly inbred in a lot of these countries, and they have really, really low IQs, like 50, 60 IQ. And they're literally taking these people and flooding them into Europe, which is known for being highly intellectual, critical thinkers, right? And just everything's falling apart. And the news media is refusing to cover the stories when they murder people and cause riots. And if you talk about it as a local, they'll try to arrest you for a hate crime for talking about it. So that's why I sort of got into that, about what's going on over in Ireland at the first part. But now let's get into the last video of the day. Make sure to support and like and subscribe Chili DeCastro's channel, by the way, Delete Laws. Somebody please put it in the sidebar. This will be our last video of the day.
24/7, I was stuck in traffic at 160th and Canyon. I'm trying to get him out.
He was chasing someone who got stuck in traffic that hadn't rammed anybody else, hadn't assaulted anybody else. The guy was stuck in traffic.
Get out of the car! He just ran over my foot. Get out of the car! Stop! Stop! Stop!
Wow. I wonder why the guy lost his cool and punched it.
So this is over property and money, a stolen car, and they're willing to drive through people's neighborhoods and kill anybody just so they can get their guy.
Wild.
We're going through the business district. We're going to pop back out on 160. He's going to head towards 160 and try to get sticks out. 376 has eastbound on 160 and 62nd Avenue to take that.
Woo!
We're
Hit that like and subscribe button. Double tap the screen, guys. Double tap the screen. That gives me likes. Please do it.
Deputy deploys stop sticks in front of the stolen vehicle.
Positive contact with the stick. Positive contact with the stick.
You're getting on a motorcycle.
The stolen car has now been recovered.
What the hell?
So take a look at something real important here. Do you see
There's
that house
houses
right
there.
there? Do you see those two houses?
Crazy.
Bullets go through people, through fences, through walls, into houses.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's what happens with bullets.
Let me see. You gotta be kidding me.
County shot fire. Shot fire of any officer's been hit.
Your local police department is hiring. You just got to be a psychopath killer. If you're willing to never let anything go, if you're willing to shoot people, electrocute people, tase people, hurt people, beat people,
wild, man.
chain people, torture people, take people down to a dungeon, sign up now at your local police department. The policies, procedures, and protocols are the same for
That's
every
insane.
different department all over the country, that you can't get away. Now, let me show you something. Let me show you something here. Let me show you something, all right?
Get out of the car!
Stop. Right there. Okay. Ready for this idea? Here it is. Here it is. For all the police departments around America, okay, you could put a tracking device on a rubber band and put it right over that guy's mirror. Oh, yeah. You could put a tracking device on a magnet, put it right on the guy's car. Whoa. Yeah. Could you imagine that? You could put a tracking device on this guy's car, not smash their window,
He's the
not
best.
escalate things,
Holy
not
crap.
shoot people in the back as they're riding away on a motorcycle. You could put a tracking device on this guy's car and end the police chase.
Wow. Go figure, guys.
I'm acting coy here because isn't that an amazing idea? In today's day and age,
Yeah.
you could put an Apple AirTag tracking device on a locking mechanism that goes around that mirror right there.
Good.
You could take another piece, whatever piece you want to do. You could take a piece like this and stick it right underneath the wheel well where this little thing is a tracking device and it tracks where the car goes. Could you imagine that? No. You could put a tracking device on cars. You don't got to smash their windows out and try to kill them. That's right. That's right. No way, dude. No way. You could track a car and then end the police chase? Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, the cops, they got a job to do. They got to get you. They got to get you now. You mean you don't have to be arrested right now? Yes. No. Yes. You don't need to be arrested now. And this disgusting pig just figures that he's right. He gets to do this because he's a cop and he's right. He just gets to run up and smash your windows out.
Get out of the car!
Just ran over my foot.
So he's been injured now. So now he's angry. Get out of the car. But Chili if you put a tracking device on a car and you stick it on a car and then the car drives away, then the car's going to get away because there's no one chasing it. Imagine this. A drone follows the tracking device. Oh, no! A drone follows that tracking device. Nuh-uh. Yeah. A drone follows the tracking device. You don't got to smash windows out. You don't got to shoot people. You don't got to chase people 100 miles an hour.
Stop! Stop! Stop!
That definitely escalated things, didn't it?
You're getting on a motorcycle.
The other guy's not shooting. He's not shooting. You see this other guy right here? He's
the other guy. So actually, I don't know. Selwyn can probably help us understand this a little better. The other guy is supposed to be his teammate, and the guy shooting actually has him in front of the firing line. That is an unsafe position to be in. And you can tell that the officer to his right is a little spooked. Tactically, this was a really bad way to handle this. Besides the fact that he shouldn't have shot at the guy, knowing that there are homes there, it's a danger. This is just a testosterone-filled asshole who has a badge and thinks he's got a lot of power.
He's not shooting a gun at anybody. He's ready to kill him because he got his foot ran over. This guy's got a gun pointed over
In the
here.
line of fire.
But he's not shooting because there's a house right there.
Right in front of him.
You don't want to take the chance of shooting a
Ridiculous.
bad guy.
Or shoot your own
You don't
officer.
want him to be the bad guy, but instead the cop is now the bad guy. Look, he looks over. He's nice and calm. He knows the guy's getting away on a motorcycle. They got the stolen car recovered. This other guy never even brings his pistol up. Take a look at the other copper.
Why would he?
He's not shooting. Why is that? Because there's no need to shoot the guy. He's running away on a motorcycle.
Let me see your hands!
You killed him, bro. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me see your hands after I shot you 3 times in the back. But you're ready to just stand up and show me your hands. Cops got me pulled over. First thing I'm going to do when I start recording is I'm going to put this hand right here. You see that? You see how that works? This hand is now up in the air. My camera is going to bright up the sky. So if it's nighttime, then the coppers can see that the camera is in my hand. My camera's rolling. Most important thing. Second thing, my elbow goes in the windowsill right there. I'm in touchdown position. This hand is rolling camera. This hand is up here so that I can reach up and grab my trifold and my proof of identification and my license. Everything is up in my visor. I take my license, registration, proof of insurance that will be in my left hand, and I give it to him. I don't want to deal with he didn't identify himself. He didn't have his registration. He didn't have his current ID. He didn't have his current insurance card. No. I have everything ready to go. It's right here with the same hand right here. I'm going to take it like this, and I'm just going to slip my information right out the cracked window for that jackboot thug pig. So now I'm not going to get myself killed because I didn't follow a very rigid set of policies, procedures, and protocols. I'm recording everything with my phone from over here. Everything's being recorded. You see that? The phone is facing me, so my head is the most important thing. Now, once I've given him my license, registration, proof of insurance, I'm filming everything, and he asked me where I'm going. I say I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent.
If you ask me another question, you're violating my rights, and I'll file a lawsuit against you. Write your ticket, do what you're going to do, but don't harass me any further.
But this is how you do it. This is how you do it.
So, guys, I was gonna make that the last one, but Chili just has such good videos. We're gonna watch one more. Sorry, man. At least I'm promoting a good channel. He's got some really good material, guys. I'm telling you, this is some of the best material that I've seen since I've been watching Delete Laws. You guys should be watching his channel all the time. This is really good stuff.
On my way back home, I noticed I forgot my wallet. I had literally just left my house and turned around as soon as I noticed. So what are the coppers doing there on the side of the road? Is that another piggy car sitting right there in the grass?
Piggy car. Looks fun, huh? Looks super fun.
What a show of authority. I got to splash my sirens at you. And then as you can see, he pulls over right there in the middle of the intersection. We need the intersection to be free flowing, but he's probably afraid if he drives any further down the road that the cops will act like psychopaths.
Oof.
Okay, so the reason why I showed this
I think
video
he's right.
is because of what this guy on the bike says, the words he says out loud, which are just like state propaganda. It just frustrates me beyond all belief.
Hello. Good.
Driver's license and insurance.
So I can show you my insurance. I was on the way home because I forgot my wallet.
Okay.
I just
Your
not realized
wallet
that. But here
doesn't
it is.
matter if you have it, because you got to have your license, registration, proof of insurance ready to go.
That's
on a
true.
laminated card.
He's right.
So you can just give it to him.
He's right.
I saw you guys. I was like, they're gonna pull me over
Why are we pulling you over?
because my plate's on my bike.
They're not on the bike.
No, plate's here.
Yeah, it's supposed to be on the vehicle.
No, I know. That's why I was going home. I didn't. My bike's been broken. I didn't realize. I went to the gas station. And I was like, oh shit, my shit's on my bike because I do YouTube and stuff. So I have this stick for a camera and I have this. That's why. I don't run or nothing. I'm not like that.
But this is supposed to be on the bike, dude.
I forgot. My home's literally less than a quarter mile. Take a right.
It's supposed to be on the bike. You shouldn't even come out of the driveway without this on your bike.
No, I didn't realize. I know it was my fault. I apologize. It was my fault.
He already admitted from the get-go that the plate wasn't on the bike and that he was getting his bike fixed. But that's 2 times this copper has decided to tell him the plate's supposed to be on the bike. Get yourself in order. If you can't afford one of these, you email me and I'll email you one you can print out yourself. And now he's got to pretend like he likes this cop.
Right now, no. Just hold on for me.
Yeah, you're good. Hey, I won't.
And then he has to add in, don't go anywhere.
Right. Yeah, no mirrors on the bike. No rear view mirrors, right? That's weird.
I have an ant on my damn thing. There we go. I just take off.
Listen to what this guy says.
Your license, is it still a Georgia license or is it?
It's a Georgia license.
Oh, you can't find it. But yeah, if you have a picture of it, it'll help.
I might in here.
If you have a picture of it, that would help. What do I preach day in and day out? Get a photocopy of your driver's license. Get a photocopy of your license, front and back. Get it on a laminated card. There's obviously this says for entertainment purposes only. It's not my actual, I'm not Brad Pitt, William Bradley Pitt. You have a copy of it, Dawn to Bomb.
Yeah. Here.
Make sure you get that.
There you go. What a nice cop. It's a nice guy. He's a very cool cop. He rides a bike. He has a Indian, like a bagger. Pretty cool.
I mean, take a look at the motorcycle. That is nice. Look
Yeah,
how
it is.
smooth that looks. And these dirty jackboot thug pigs, they couldn't wait to pull him over, to give him a hard time, to give him a ticket. But he's a nice guy.
Talking about my bike, talking about whatever. Don't know what he's gonna do. We'll see.
Right.
Plate was on the bike and then my license, obviously. But I mean, we're chilling. I'm not a runner. All right. On this YouTube channel, we're respectful and we're nice.
Okay. He's respectful and nice. That's what he is on this channel. Let's see how that works out for him.
So I don't know. We'll see. He comes out. He's like, "Get on your hands and knees. I'm arresting you." I'm like, "Ah!" But now we're chilling. Cool thumbnail, Dad. What do you guys think? Like this? And one of these? Thumbnail. I've been here for over a year. No ticket. No, nothing wrong. And I was just saying how I've not been in court in so long.
So that's how it should be. You shouldn't have to go to court all the time.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be cops hiding on the side of the road
Yeah.
to get you, to take your money.
Like, I've done nothing, no issue, no none. But times have
Insane.
changed, I guess.
Times have changed, I guess. Maybe you're just catching up. Maybe you're just, I don't know what rock you've been asleep under, but it's been going on for a long time.
I've been out here for like, dude, 15 minutes just standing up here. So I think his name. I gave him my channel though. He's gonna watch my channel. He said, or check me out. But we're just been hanging out. Oh, a little 3-wheeler over there. It's fire. Yeah, there's nothing wrong. I know it's a ticket. I know. Hand me the ticket, man. I wasn't speeding. I wasn't being reckless. I wasn't being an asshole.
Right. So it's just bullshit paperwork that you don't need to be fined or feed. There's no reason for the government to pull money out of this man's pocket. He has everything in order. He was heading home to put the plates on the bike. He saw at the gas station that he didn't have his plates on, so he turned around to go home.
Let me go. 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 Let me go.
Trying to find a way to arrest
Let me
him.
go. Let me go.
I want to put the torture cuffs on him.
This is not a warning. He's running all my stuff. I'm definitely going to ticket. I've been here for literally 20 minutes. Just please, bro. Just give me the ticket so I can go home. I'm begging you at this point, dude. Holy. Oh.
My printer's acting good.
All right.
That's a lie.
I'm getting a ticket. Let's go. I was being fierce to the community. I was causing issues. He said his printer is acting goofy. Give him a second. So
You guys
this guy's like a
believe that?
veteran.
Give me a bunch of ones if that's bullshit.
And the guy was telling me, he was like, "Yeah, we're at the light up there." And he came to me, he's like, "Sir, play on that bike." And I said, "I don't think so." And so they came after me. This guy wanted to come after me. I was like, bro. But the thing is, if I was flying down the street, they wouldn't have even cared because I had no plate. And I stopped. I actively stopped like a good person. I get a ticket. It is what it is. They're just doing their job. I get it.
No. I reject this. The reason we have peace officers in the United States of America is to uphold your rights. The only action the government is supposed to take is to protect your liberty, to protect your property, not to give you tickets.
I agree.
But come on, bro. I wasn't even doing anything bad. I was being a good Samaritan. A good Samaritan. That's all right, though. We have a sick thumbnail. Get another one. Should we get another one? Just cause. Boom! Look at that. Should we get both cop cars? Is both better? How's that look?
At least he's
It
having
kinda works.
fun.
He's asking his co-partner to print the ticket for him, for me. Instead of just saying, "Have a good day." My printer's being goofy, so it's your lucky day.
All right, this is editing Blake. I had to throw this in here because my GoPro kept dying. The outcome, he got out of his car after another 15 minutes, I kid you not, and walked over to me and pointed to his body cam and said, "This is all on camera, just so you know." My printer's not working, so I went ahead and mailed you this non-moving citation. It's like the same as like a broken taillight. I could have written you 2 more tickets for over $1,000. I'm not going to do that to you today.
You're not going to do that to me today? Oh, gosh. You're such a nice guy. Just so you know, in the 70s and 80s, the torture cuffs went on the back of the uniform because they weren't used very much. Today, the torture cuffs are used constantly. They're used to torture you, to extract information. And this is the cop he called a nice guy. Does he look like a nice guy to you? Doesn't look like a nice guy to me.
Funny enough, I'm moving in 10 days, so I had a whole conversation with him about how I'm going to go about this. He didn't know what to tell me either. He's never had to deal with that because it has to go to the address that's on the registration. But long story short, he tried telling me he could have given me other tickets if I was like hiding my plate or whatnot, but I don't want to even get into it. He was just doing his job. No hate to the cop. I understand. You're doing your job. You got to do what you got to do.
It is so discouraging listening to this guy saying he just forgiving the cop for being a pig, for stealing your money. He had his license plate. He had all of his paperwork. It was just in his fanny pack, but now he's got to be feed and fined hundreds of dollars, get a court date. If he doesn't make the court date, he gets a warrant for his arrest. If he doesn't pay those tickets, he gets a warrant for his arrest, where they snatch you up, impound your vehicle, and take you to the dungeon and steal your money. But he just continues to make excuses for this dirty jackboot thug pig. We're no longer accepting the things that we can't change. We're changing the things we can no longer accept. Big difference between Team DLZ and everybody else. Because we take the things we don't accept and we change those things. If you got your...
All right. So guys, I have got to go get some chow. I'm not going to play the last part of his video, which is he's going to talk to you about the trifold and the cop cards. Guys, go over to the Delete Laws channel. Please share his link, guys. Thanks for showing up, Jason Jones. Thanks, Trevor McGator, and Melania Selwindon, everybody for showing up today. Let's OTVO. This was a long one today. I appreciate you guys showing up. Make sure to double tap that screen because we're in vertical. That's how you show me a like, show me some love. By the way, if you guys want to help support the channel, one of the ways you could do it is go to my YouTube homepage, and you can, this is not the actual book. This is a soft cover version of my digital book that I sell online. And it's my journey to becoming a practicing lawyer with no law degree or undergrad. And I sell them for like $19.95. You go to my YouTube homepage, at my channel page, and you just click on the PayPal link there. That's a great way to support the channel. It'll help me, motivate me to come back when I know people are reading my book. And in my book, I talk about, how you can become a lawyer with no law degree or undergrad, and what states offer similar programs to the program in California that I was on, which is the same program that the one famous actress with the fake boobs and all that. She was married to Kanye West. I already forgot her name. Bruce Jenner, his stepdaughter. Anyways, that's the program she's on. I appreciate everybody showing up tonight, and up the raw, free all the Irish political prisoners. Semper Fidelis, Semper Fi, do or die. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save. Make sure to save me to your favorites. Make sure to double tap that screen and share this video with your friends and family member, because this was a really good one about free speech and what's going on in Ireland and how they're forcing school teachers to buy into the transhumanist, Luciferian, Baphomet worship agenda, and how to form parallel systems so we don't have to participate in things that we disagree with fundamentally. Shouldn't be forced on us. So I talked about how we can all form parallel systems and help each other that way, the same way Martin Luther King Jr. helped his people. So guys, have a great week. If I don't see you, take care.